Your job is just a job. Wake up every single day, look in the mirror and say, my job is just a job. Say it with me. Your job is just a job. Have you ever had a job that you genuinely don't enjoy? Or have you ever felt stuck between paying the bills and actually chasing the dream and the life that you want? Everyone says follow your dreams, but what if that dream is not paying the bills? It's not funny. I'm laughing, but it's actually not funny. I don't hate working. I'm not a lazy person, but I hate the fact that my time is being spent somewhere that isn't leading me towards my goals. I hate the fact that I feel like my time is being wasted. I currently work in an environment where, technically speaking, it's supposed to be rewarding because you are helping other people, but I don't feel like it is rewarding in any way, shape, or form. I feel like that because it's not the career that I want to be at. And it made me realize that a job like that should only be done, if that makes any sense, by people who love it and people who genuinely are interested in such a line of work. And sometimes I do feel guilty that I don't like it. So basically I work in school and system. I don't feel that I am applying myself in the way that I should. If I was to be teaching, let's say, music, or if I was to be in a more creative school, maybe that would feel different. Again, I don't know, but I don't feel that great each time I do something or each time I make a difference. Sometimes you feel guilty for that, but at the same time it's just like, this is not your dream at the end of the day. It's a tricky one. There's also that guilt, especially in this day and age where finding a job is really hard. Not everyone can get a job nowadays. It's quite sad, the job market, let's be honest. It's like, why are you being so ungrateful for not enjoying something when so many people out there are still looking for a job and so many people would literally die to be in the position that you're in right now? It's quite hard, and I feel like there's kind of this pressure to be grateful all the time. And sometimes I do speak to certain people who genuinely don't necessarily understand what it's like to be a creative or what it's like to be a runner. You can kind of feel the judgment in their tone. They kind of think that you're being ungrateful, but you're here right now. Why don't you make the most of it? Stick to this, you know? My question is, or my dilemma is, like, why can't I be grateful and still want more at the same time? This person a couple years ago would be so proud of where I am right now. It was actually quite ridiculous. But at the same time, it's okay that I still want more, because that's how life is. Like, you're supposed to progress and you're not supposed to be stuck in this position. You're not supposed to not want more for yourself. When people look at us and think, you guys are doing too much, you guys need to calm down, you guys can literally make life easier for yourself and you can, you know, settle. You get to a point where, as much as you want to ignore all of that external pressure or that external judgment, you kind of sit down sometimes and really think to yourself, are you being ungrateful? Sometimes I have to literally remind myself that it's not that I'm being ungrateful, it's that I just want more for myself. A go-getter and a goal-setter, get it? Aha! I'm not gonna say I'm only gonna speak for runners and artists only, but those are my two interests, right? But how many of us actually have full-time jobs? A lot. And the thing about being an artist is you've got literally 5 full-time jobs into one. Same thing about being a runner, 5 full-time jobs into one. Not necessarily being a runner, but trying to make something out of running. You may not want to be like an Olympic athlete or something. Trying to do all of that and make content and, you know, make something out of that also is a full-time job on its own. When you combine that with your external job, something that actually brings in the money, it can get quite exhausting and it can get quite stressful, especially just for one person alone. As much as I say that, some people say endure and some people say, why are you not being grateful? Some people genuinely just say, just quit your job at the same time. Like, it's never that deep. Like, focus on your music, focus on your running, focus on your craft. You can't give 50% or you can't give 80% and expect to get 100% back. And it's absolutely true. If we lived in a more privileged society, or if we were individually privileged to the point where we don't need jobs, I think a lot of us would not be doing half the things that we're doing right now. And it's quite unfortunate. Bills do need to be paid, and if you're not paying bills, you still need to eat, you still need to live, you still need to go out, you still need to be able to buy yourself clothes. Running shoes are very expensive, studio sessions are very expensive, releasing music is not cheap. I can't just quit my job. Do you get? I can't just quit my job and say, no, I'm not working and I'm going to focus on my music or my running full time, because at the end of the day, those things actually do need funding. This fly, yeah, Go away! But yeah, like everyone basically says like quit your job until rent is due, and some of us who are privileged enough not to be paying rent, whether you're living at home or anything, you still don't want to be relying on other people, especially being like an adult. It is expensive. You need the money. But what you have to think about as an artist, as a runner, as someone who is not following the traditional path is you're not supposed to quit your job immediately. That job could be something that's funding your dream. I also believe in transferable skills, and I feel like a lot of us don't necessarily value transferable skills as much. If I had to tell you right now, have I ever used any of the things that I've learned in school in terms of maths or science? No, I haven't. But during that time you learn patience, during that time you learn discipline in terms of just getting the work done. Sometimes you do things that you don't want to do and you're just gonna have to get it done. So that kind of builds you up for that, and that's why sometimes you just need to turn a blind eye to this whole, you know, I hate my job situation. I'm saying this, but I even struggle to do that sometimes. Sometimes it's really hard for me to recognize that this is supposed to fund my dreams, and even if it's not necessarily funding my dreams in terms of like giving me so much money where I'm able to just push my music out there so I can get a million streams, even if it doesn't directly fund my dreams, it also means that I'm able to live comfortably whilst I'm chasing my dream. I am able to clothe myself, I'm able to buy a new running shoe, I am able to make the transport to get to the studio. It's just basically about seeing the positives, and I know that it's difficult, I know that it's hard. This is a conversation that you probably would have with yourself 100,000 times. I know that I have this conversation with myself at least twice, 3 times, 4 times a week. I have to remind myself why I'm doing it, and I have to remind myself that this is just something that I'm using to fund my dreams. One way that I feel like it's really kind of good to help me is I have put a time frame on things as well. This is how long I'm going to be here for, and it's like maybe that constant move could help like to refresh your brain, because sometimes staying in the same environment for such a long time you kind of will feel stuck at some point. The emotional side of things, something that gets me really emotional. Have you ever finished work and you feel like you have no fuel left in you to be able to focus on your dreams or to be able to chase what you want to chase, and you feel like you have no more creativity left in you because the job is literally draining your creativity, or the job is not allowing you to be creative or to use that creative side of your brain, and it kind of feels like you're just stuck in this loop where you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and it feels like your brain is not being active. That part can get really hard as well, and it makes you really question, is it worth it? Is it worth the money? Is it worth the headache? Is it worth the freedom at this point? When I say freedom, to be able to fund your lifestyle, is it worth it at this point if it means that your dreams are being neglected? And I'm not saying neglected in a way that you don't have enough time, because let's be real, if you have a full-time job or if you have a part-time job, you're never gonna feel like you have enough time to focus on your dreams, ever going to feel like that. Even people without full-time jobs still struggle. What I'm talking about is the energy, the drive. So many people come back from work so drained physically sometimes. Are you able to even run? Because you're working in a place where you're just constantly getting into conversations with people that don't inspire you, and then you get home and you're just like, do I have the energy to even create music? Do I have the energy to even create art? Do I have the energy to even think? Where is the inspiration coming from at that point? Because you have a full-time job, because you have your dreams, it's like you don't even have the time to even go outside and explore the world. Just do something that allows you to have a little bit of downtime. During those times is when you actually gain inspiration. But when you don't have the time to do that, where does the inspiration come from? That's another thing that makes me question, is it all worth it? At some point it kind of feels like you're a robot just doing the same thing over and over again. That is something that I'm definitely still trying to figure out, how to balance it in such a way that where I still remain creative, where I still remain ambitious, where I still remain driven. I know I am driven, but where I still have enough to be able to give as much as I should. Not just writing a song for the sake of writing, pouring actual creativity into my craft rather than just doing it because I know that, you know, I'm on pilot mode. With running, being able to give that workout my all that I could have given, and not just say, oh, I'm tired from work, so this is the most I can give right now. Now that leads me on to the danger of things being that the job itself is not the problem sometimes. The biggest danger is getting too comfortable with the job, being too comfortable with what you're getting from the job, which is the money part of things. I've heard a lot of people just say, yeah, I can't lie to you, I don't focus on my dream as much because I need money. You're giving so much into that you kind of get so comfortable with the reward that you're getting from it. It's kind of like delayed reward. As humans, we are most likely going to chase something that we get immediate rewards from, most likely going to focus more on those type of things than things that are not giving giving us that immediate results that we want. That's the trap that a lot of people keep falling into, and it's so hard not to fall into that. And recently I have noticed myself falling into that. A part of me started to think like, no, but you do have a job that is calm. It's still less stressful than other jobs, you know. Be grateful for it, you know. Stick to it. The money is coming in. You're getting money every month. Like, what's the issue, you know? That is the problem. That voice is the problem. That voice is the voice that tells you to be comfortable. 50 years from now, you're going to realize, oh, you actually listen to that voice. And the thing about that voice is it's so sneaky that you don't even realize until it's too late that you have given into that thought. You've given into that voice. You have given power to that voice. That is so dangerous. Like, that genuinely scares me. And I'm so glad that I have things around me that constantly kind of remind me that, oh, calm down. Calm down. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. And I think it's really important that we all have that around us. But whether that's someone that is doing something that you want to do, that you look up to, and you follow them on social media and you see their posts constantly, or whether that is a family member that is also inspiring to you, or whether that's a family member that cares about your dream almost as much as you do, that reminds you that, by the way, remember why you're doing this in the first place, you know? I think the danger is just waking up 5 years from now and just realizing that you just stopped trying. And stop trying could literally mean doing the same thing over and over again like a robot and not even trying anything new, and then just saying nothing's working. I feel like that's another way that that voice gets to you. It stops you from trying harder or for finding different ways to be creative. And it's quite interesting. My job is not funding my lifestyle, it's funding my future. Just me filming this video alone has kind of put that into more of like a bigger picture. Like, I'm actually seeing it. It's not funding my lifestyle. The money is not enough to fund what I want to fund, but at the same time it's funding my future indirectly. It's helping me to reduce stress in other areas where I'm able to focus and fund my future. And funding your future isn't always monetary. Sometimes it's about your time. Most times it's about your time, because I remember a couple months ago, before I got my job, my brother asked me, he said, why are you doing this? Why do you love music? And I remember mentioning something that had to do with money. And at that point I literally sat down and I said, wow, my purpose or my reason for doing it, my why had changed, and it had become just about money at that point. And that was because I didn't have a job, I didn't have income, I didn't have anything coming in. I was still having to ask my mother. Now that I do have that job, I don't even think about the money when it comes to running. I don't think about the money when it comes to not influencing, but when it comes to posting on social media, when it comes to music. I'm not even thinking about the money. I'm thinking about exposure. I'm thinking about getting to do things that I've never done before. I'm thinking about traveling, actually being in spaces that I would have never imagined that I would ever be in. That is why I'm doing it now, and that's what the job is there for. The job is there to just remind you why you love what you're doing, if that makes any sense, you know? Because sometimes when you don't have that job that's bringing you that money, it's so easy to forget why exactly you chose that path. The goal isn't to love your job, the goal is to build something outside of that, and it's really hard to build something outside your job. It's really hard to balance it all. Being a creative, being a runner, or being someone who, again, is chasing something that is non-traditional can feel quite exhausting, genuinely speaking. I look at myself and I'm like, you're a CEO with multiple full-time jobs, but the goal is just to try and just keep on pushing and building things out of that. Sometimes doing that might just mean stepping away for a bit and just resting. I know that is a topic for another day, the inability to rest, even if it's one day. Just focus on yourself, on what you like to do, so that you can come back and be fresh. It's like when you're running and you take a deload week or you take a taper week before your marathon. It's like you're taking a step back from it, giving your body the chance to heal itself, so that when you come back for your race, you're going harder, you're hitting harder, you're going paces that you never would have imagined that you'll be able to hold, if that makes any sense. The goal isn't to escape your job tomorrow. The goal is to make sure that your job is not the only thing that you're building, because your job is just a job, and we need to start seeing our jobs as just a job. My job is just a job. My job is not a career, it's just a job. That's it. Your job is just a job. Wake up every single day, look in the mirror and say, my job is just a job. Say it with me, your job is just a job. There we go. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this. I've actually really enjoyed this, guys. This couch is so comfortable, it's actually quite ridiculous. I could actually sleep right now. Whatever it is we want to see, just comment down below and let me know your favorite part of this video, and let me know what exactly goes through your mind as someone who is trying to build a career, if you are someone who has multiple interests as well, like you want to be like a hybrid type of situation. The other day I met someone who said he loves cooking but he also loves music. Regardless of what it is, just comment down below, let me know your struggles and like how you're dealing with it. I would love to hear more, honestly, and if you would want to see more videos like this, like I said before, let me know. Thank you so much. Very, very nice. I love you.